Hello there, folks. I thought today I'll go over how to recover from a pretty bad elbow injury. Now, the type of elbow injury I'm talking about is the type that will debilitate you to the point where you can't do a single pull-up even though you used to be able to do 20 of them. This type of elbow problem will be so severe that when you try to do a single push-up, you completely collapse due to sharp screaming pains in your elbows. And sure, while you can still move your elbow through a full range of motion, the minute you put any form of load on it, it's just no good. Now, whether this pain is constantly reoccurring or it just now happened for the first time, I would like to go through the steps that I personally took to overcome these injuries, and you follow along and hopefully you learn something. Let's hop right into it. So for starters, we're gonna need two things. We're gonna need some form of a pulling apparatus. In this case, I'm using a pull-up bar, and we're gonna need some form of a band, rubber band type of ordeal. It doesn't need to be super strong. We just need something with a little bit of resistance. You're gonna take that lovely band, you're just gonna loop it through the top of whatever pulling apparatus you have, and now you have something that you could pull down upon. And for some, a chair may be necessary depending on the height of your pull-up bar. Ideally, you want a pull-up bar that's probably around chest height or maybe just eyeball height. In this case, that's not it, so chair. The exercises and workout in itself is nothing special, but you're gonna start off with some banded tricep extensions. The tricep extension is to hold the rubber band, however orientation you like. Sometimes I like to hold it like this. Sometimes I like to take my hands, loop it inside, and then grab it like this. Whichever you prefer, you do you, boo. From here, you're just gonna fully extend the triceps downwards. As you can see, there's not a lot of resistance, and we're gonna pump it out. Bang, bang, bang. Now, the purpose of these tricep extensions isn't necessarily a full range of motion. It's not about getting stronger triceps either, although that is what we are kind of doing. The idea here is we're just trying to pump blood into the other side of the elbow, making sure the triceps and the elbow area feel nice and cushy, plump with blood. In the case that you're unable to fully extend your elbow because you might have a sharp sense of pain in your elbow, unnecessary. Just go as low as is comfortable. When I first started and I was unable to do that full range of motion, I just did this partial range of motion. And then when I got a little bit more better and more accustomed to it, I started to slowly expand upon that range of motion. A little bit further, until ultimately I was able to do it all the way down. Now, a little bit of pain is okay. A lot of pain and pain that increases throughout the set is not. Now, after you do your banded tricep extensions, you're gonna take your chair. You're gonna stand up upon it because you're gonna use the chair as a form of assistance to help you do very, very, very assisted pull-ups. Obviously, we want a nice full range of motion here, but of course, like with most injuries, there's gonna be one point of range of motion, say it's at the 90-degree mark, where it's gonna feel like shit. Simply, when you get to that range of motion, just use more assistance with your feet than usual. Push past it, and when you go down, try to load it as much as possible. Repeat the motion. Oh my god, right here hurts like hell. Apply a lot of assistance, and then continue onwards. And like this, we're working your arms through a full range of motion, even though it is extremely hurt at the moment. Basically, we're trying to teach your body that it's still okay to go through a full range of motion under load, so long as the load isn't excessive. To point a picture of what I mean, let's say right here is the minute the pain activates. After that is the minute the pain goes away. So you will have all this range of motion to be strong, all this range of motion to be strong, but just right here is where it feels extremely weak and the sharp pain activates. That doesn't mean that your entire range of motion is messed up. It's simply only messed up here. So let's work what we can work while trying to expand that range of motion downwards and expand that range of motion upwards. Now, after you get done with your pull-ups, you're gonna take a nice little break and you're just gonna repeat those two exercises back to back to back with increasing levels of difficulty. Now, there's gonna come a point in time during your tricep extensions and pull-uppiness that you're gonna realize that the pain you feel is a lot more scary than it is debilitating. meaning you're gonna be afraid to do that full range of motion with speed because you're afraid that the pain is gonna hit you so much harder than it is actually gonna hit you. And you know, everyone has to go through this. In reality, all you really gotta do, and I want you to do this for all the exercises, aka two of the exercises and how you perform it. I want you to take your arm, squeeze the shit out of the apparatus you're using. Starting with the grip, squeeze hard. Squeeze your forearms hard, squeeze your biceps, squeeze your triceps, even squeeze your chest and upper back together. Now that you lock your body into this really top position, with speed and rhythm, down, 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 down. You will feel infinitely more safe doing it that way than if you just to take it and just start pulling down like that. Not much control, not much anything. But the minute you decide to activate all the surrounding musculature around the elbow immediately becomes more secure and safe. Haha, bam, 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 just like that. The same principle applies for the pull-ups as well. Power starts from the point of contact. In this case, it's our hands. You're gonna grab it, you're gonna squeeze the living daylights out of it. Once you get done squeezing the living daylights out of it, squeeze your arms, squeeze your back from here. Strong. Strong. If the point of pain is right here, you're gonna squeeze really hard. You're gonna and you're just gonna push right past that point of pain. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind while you're doing these exercises. And the goal, the ultimate end goal, is we wanna go from a slow motion into a fast motion. The reason why is because we want you and your body to understand that it's okay to move quickly under load and your body will be completely fine. If you put up the mental block that you can only move slowly, then when you go back into climbing and you're faced with, say, a dynamic move, you're always gonna hold yourself back a little bit. If you didn't know this, you're less likely to injure yourself if you fully commit to a move than if you commit 50% and then give up. It's like the person that goes cliff diving. They start that really fast run up, but then they scare themselves out, they stop, and then they slip and fall on the rocks, which totally sucks. Now I like to finish the video with a real timeline, an example of how my progression looked like. So at the start of this, my ability to do pull-ups and push-ups was at a big old 0. One of my elbows were messed up. I don't know which one. I messed them both up particularly the same way and recovered the same way. Now at the start of my injury, with my banded tricep extension, let's just assume the left one's the one that's injured so you actually see it easier. Pushing down for me wasn't that bad of an issue, and my tempo was relatively kind of like what you're seeing now. The resistance, very, very little, but I did sets of 20 reps. I really wanted to have my arms nice and burning, and sometimes it wasn't about the range of motion. It was just about getting blood into that area. Eventually, I was able to do a full range of motion, but say this is the first week of me doing this shenanigan. After the 20 reps, let's just assume I did 20 reps, I will go up to my nice pull-up bar with my assistants, and from here, I'll do 10 pull-ups with assistance, of course. So my first week, I was looking something like this. If I was to tell you how much pressure I have in my arms right now, the answer would be I probably have around 10 to 15% of my body weight in my arms. In fact, I feel it more in my legs than I do in my arms. Come the second week of me doing this shenanigan, I was able to do my tricep extensions much quickly, much more faster, and with a great amount of confidence. When it came to my pull-ups, I was able to apply a little bit more pressure to it. And what I started implementing was I would pull up using assistance, and then I'll lower myself to the ground without assistance. Pull up assistance, and I'll just do a negative with no assistance. And I will do 10 reps of that. Around week number 3, I finally hit the realization that I am afraid of the pain that's gonna happen in my elbow when I do my pull-ups. But of course, I still hit my tricep extensions as normal. Bang, 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 20. But then when it came to the pull-ups, I decided assistance was doing me nothing but just holding me back. Because now I could feel my weight in my hands and I was getting stronger. And the only thing holding me back right now was mentally just my cranium. So I grabbed the bar with all my heart and soul. Keep in mind, I did warm up with all my heart and soul. I squeezed really hard and then I did one quick pull-up. Now during the pull-up action, I did notice a little bit of a twinge of pain right here, but it went away immediately once I got to the top. And I then started doing sets of 10 pull-ups really quickly, really hard, really fast. And the funny thing that happened while I was doing these pull-ups was I noticed the pain getting less and less and less. My confidence grew the more sets I did. My elbows got better the more pull-ups I did. Now the time frame might have been a little bit winky or junky, or because it's been a while since my elbow's been that severely bad and I don't exactly remember exactly how long it took, but I would say it took me about a month to go from 0 pull-ups back to about 20 pull-ups in a row. It was a pretty fun experience. Happened to me twice. So hopefully with that information, I'll put the workout in the description below. You will also be able to remedy your elbows. For most people, I realize it's more of a mental hurdle than it is an actual physical one. But that's just how I improve my elbows. Feel free to use it, feel free not to. Here's a video of me climbing. I like climbing. Here's a video of me doing something else. I'm not so sure, but it's something else. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time, partner.